Hi, this is Tom. Today we're going to get started with Java. We're going to install Java onto a clean machine and talk about the difference between the Java Runtime Environment, or the JRE, and the Java Development Kit, or the JDK, otherwise known as the SDK. The JRE it includes java.exe on a Windows machine. It's an executable file. Java.exe is an interpreter that's used to run Java programs. All of the tools that are needed as a Java programmer to compile Java or to run JavaDoc are included in the JDK, otherwise known as the SDK, the Software Development Kit for Java. So we're going to get started by going to an EC2 machine that actually does not have Java installed on it at all yet. So I'm going to show how to install Java here. So I can prove that it doesn't have Java on it by just going to the command line, typing Java, and you can see that it doesn't recognize Java. It also doesn't know Java-C, so it doesn't know about the Java interpreter, the runtime environment, or the compiler. So we need to first thing we need to do is download Java SDK. So we just type Java, download Java SDK, and follow the link. On this link, we get to the downloads page for Java, and we select the appropriate development kit. Here I'm going to select the Java 8 SDK. I'm going to accept the license agreement, and then I can go ahead and download the executable, which is the installer for Java. Since I've already downloaded the installer, I don't need to do it again. Actually, I've been downloaded a couple times already. So now that I've downloaded the installer, I can just click on the installer and run it. The installer is pretty simple. Generally speaking, I just accept all the defaults of the installer, and we'll see what that looks like here. So development tools, source code, public, JRE, those things are all good to have on my local machine, and I want to install them in C program files, Java. That's a fine place to install them. So clicking that, you'll now start to install the software development kit. It's copying all the files, extracting everything, and doing everything necessary to give you the SDK in C program files Java. So the second thing it's going to install is actually the Java runtime environment, or the JRE, and it's going to actually put that into a different subdirectory, again under C program files Java, but under a different subdirectory. So it's installing both the SDK, the software development kit with all the tools, and the JRE, which has the java.exe. When this completes, I'll have both the JRE and the SDK available to me. And so I'll just pop over to the Windows Explorer so that we can have a look at where it is installing them. Here I have the C drive, program files, and now I have a directory called Java. In the Java directory, you can see I have the JRE, which is the one that's installing right now, and the JDK, which is that tools area. Let's look at the JDK directory first, because this is where we'll see all the tools. All the tools will be found under the bin directory, the binary directory, which includes the ability to jar, to basically zip up a Java program into a jar file. It actually has the runtime environment too. It's got a java.exe, it's got a javac.exe, javadoc.exe. So these are all the tools, and you can see they're in C, program files, Java, JDK 1.8, bin. Now let's have a quick look at the JRE. This is the other thing that was installed. JRE also has a bin directory, just that in the bin directory here, we'll see java.exe here and java.w. And okay, so just a subset of the tools are available in the JRE, which is just really the runtime environment and not the whole build tool environment. So now we've actually installed Java, and we might want to try to use the command line to ensure that we have Java on the command line. So if I type Java now we can see that it does recognize Java. The So now I could easily run a Java program, but let's look for Java C. What you can see is that actually it doesn't, while it does recognize Java, it recognizes the JRE, it doesn't recognize the SDK. The location where all the tools are in the SDK, that /bin directory under the Java SDK's home, is not on my path, and therefore it doesn't directly recognize Java C. So what I want to do next is add that bin directory to my path so that I can run the compiler directly from the command line. Let's do a quick recap. So we did an installation of Java. We went through the installation wizard, and we saw that we installed Java into the program files directory onto our local machine. Now we want to complete the installation by making sure that the tools like Java C, the compiler, are available on the command line. And we're going to do that by updating the path. So let's do that next. So here I'm going back to my machine. I can go to System and System. And in System, I can go to Advanced System Settings, Environment Variables, and I can see my path. So let's look at the path. So notice on the path here that, let me go to the home of the path, that C program data Oracle Java path has been added to my path already. That is actually a symbolic link to the Java runtime environment, and that's why java.exe is directly available to me on the command line. What is not here on the path is the actual bin directory of the SDK, which would make Java C and the other tools available to me. So all I'm really going to do here is I'm going to add that bin directory to the path. So if I go back over here and remember that it was under JDK bin. So if I add this directory to my path, then the compiler will become available to me. So I'll do it in front of a semicolon. I'll say OK. Okay, now I've updated my path. So if I echo, I have to close the command window and reopen it in order to have it recognize the new path. So I'll do that. CMD. I could echo the path here. And you can see that I have the JDK bin directory on my path now. So now if I do Java C, you can see that it now recognizes Java C. So now I could compile a program from the command line. I could run Java I could run Java doc from the command line if I wanted to. I can tell what version I have of these things too. So I could do Java C minus version. So I can see that I have 1.8. I can where will recognize Java C now. It knows where Java C is, where Java is from this Java path. So if we look at this symbolic link quickly, that's the other thing we can look at to understand what happened when it added this strange program data into your path. It's actually that's a symbolic link we'll see by examining the program data where they have this java.exe symbolic link. So if I cd to c/program data /oracle /java /java path and do a dir, I can see that java.exe here is actually a symbolic link and pointing back to program files java JRE. It's the JRE java.bin/java.exe. So they added this symbolic link to my path when I did the installation, but they didn't add any. They didn't add the SDK's bin directory, so we had to add that manually. This concludes our Getting Started with Java video. We've completed the installation, we've updated the path, we've seen that we have Java available to us and that we have all the tools like the compiler available to us directly on the command line. When you install Eclipse or other IDEs, you can now use the installed SDK, this installed SDK within that IDE also. Thank you. I hope this tutorial was helpful.